So here is my Reliant Rialto, not a Robin, even though I have been calling it a Robin on quite a few occasions, but it is a Reliant Rialto, which is a facelift of a Reliant Robin. I actually put a motorbike engine in this, and it's actually got a Kawasaki ZX6R engine in the Reliant Rialto. Now we've been building this for quite a little bit of a while now, and I've not touched this car in about 3 or 4 months. In fact, the last video was actually the first ever drive we took on this, and I ended up breaking the gear cable because at the time I can't remember which way was forward and which way was upper gear because I didn't have a motorbike license, and I can't remember which way I put the cable the way around. Now the reason I left on a bit of a cliffhanger was because I had to just get this car done because I had a deadline for that and I was getting really close. But we're going to jump back on the Reliant because I want to see how fast this car actually is, because last time we couldn't get it out of first gear. So here is the Reliant, and there is the motorbike engine literally sat inside the car. We've got cobwebs and spiders starting because we've not been in here for so long. But this was the old gear cable and this is the new gear cable. So I've actually got a new gear cable. This was the older one that snapped, and I can't remember if it's because it's an old cable or it's because I kept yanking it the wrong way. I'm not fully sure, probably the latter. But the new cable, I'm a lot more clued up on how motorbike gearboxes work, and my welding skills have come on a lot further since when we last actually did this car. So let's get the gear cable in and let's actually take this for a proper drive. Okay, so because I had to get a new cable, here is my new cable. It doesn't have the ends, and we need 2 rose jointed ends of some sort because they're going, we need to bolt through the gear shifter on each side. Now these have just come with 2 M5 threads, so we need to ideally buy 2 rose joints or make something work. Now 2 rose joints would work perfectly, but I've not got any M5 rose joints and I can't find a shop that will do that today. So I had a look around the unit, come across this tiny little shock absorber. I'm not sure what it is, but it does not matter. And it has 2 rose joints on either end, or rod ends. Now the issue with these rod ends is that they are M4 and therefore they are not threading onto my new cable. So what we're going to do is we're going to try something, because if I don't try something today, I'm not going to get this done today, because I want to take this car to Adam Seafest and I need this gear cable on. So we're going to take these 2 rose joints off these ends and we're going to drill them out and we're going to retap an M5 thread. Hopefully this will work. I'm not sure if it will, but we're going to give it a go. Okay, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is this rod end actually does thread on to the cable, which is great, perfect. The bad news is the other side of the rod end isn't actually a rod end, it's just plastic. So I've got a plan, okay. I'm worried too, okay. I'm worried about this plan too, trust me, but it could work. The easy thing to do would just be to weld a rod end onto this cable, but I don't want to ruin this cable because this thing cost me about 80 quid, literally just this thing. But I've got a plan which we can still use the welder, which is great fun, but we also don't ruin the cable. Now I'm not sure if it's going to work. We've got to give it a go, all right? Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. We've got a rod end here which is clearly the wrong size and clearly everything's wrong about it. But what if, right? What if we get some nuts and we weld this nut to the rod end, and then we put something in the middle, weld that to that, weld that to that, weld that to that, and then this will be able to thread it in. Tell me that's not genius. But that obviously is quite long, so we might have to, and this doesn't go in there, so we might have to do a little bit of, maybe find a different bit of tube. But tell me that is genius. I don't know if this is going to be strong enough, but it's going to work. It's going to work for the time being until we can order some rod ends from eBay. This will work for the time being. So we're going to install the gear cable on the engine side first and see how much room we've got. But first of all, we've got to take the shifter off. So this side is now in, so we've got the rose joint on there on the actual gear shifter. Right, then it comes to this little mounting ball joint thing here, which race car wings made. So we tighten them down. But before, I mean, we've got to take it back up anyway, so I've not got all the connectors on, or the rubber stuff. But just for testing purposes, let's see if it works. So we're going to send that up there, and now we need to go and mess around with the top mounting point. This is what we used last time to mount the actual other end of the cable. And this is the shifter. We've got our choke and we've got our clutch. So, as you can see, the actual end of the cable of the other one was different. So we had a smaller size hole. We need to make this hole bigger to put this thread through so we can lock it down on there. So it's going to be something like that. So we actually don't have much room at all, which is worrying. I thought it'd need to be longer than that. We really don't have much room at all, because when the cable shifter's in the middle, we're going to be there right away. So it might be difficult because the rose joint's so long, but we're going to make something work. I promise you, we're going to make something work. I always lose my drill bits. I've got a 14mm. I have to just use a step drill here. No way. Okay, yes. So that is the rose joint. So that rose joint that I'd lost, that is the rose joint. So we've actually sorted out, we don't need to do that bunchy stuff anymore. We've actually got the rose joint. So what we've got to do is just make this hole bigger so this thread will fit through there, and then we can mount the shifter and see if it works. Yes! I don't like the angle of that though, but don't think we're gonna choice. Send or no send, what do you choose? I know what I choose. And the good thing about this time is that last time we had like on pins, so there's a little bit of play before the pin actually engaged. But now we're going to be tight rose jointed both sides. It should be solid. So we've got the shifter on, got the cable on. Now this bit of the cable here is inherently longer than the other one, so we kind of want the shifter sat like this in the middle, so we've got the same movement forward and the same movement back, or a little bit back, because something like that would be nice. But where it sits now, it sits just a little bit too far back. So I mean, we can bolt it up there like this and it won't look too bad, but the only thing is that because it's not straight up, when we're going to be pulling back, we're going to be hitting this bit here. So what we can do is we can just put a little bit of a slit in there, just so that this can come forward and it can come up. If we just put a little bit of a slit in there with the grinder, it's not going to affect the structure and the strength too bad. Now my biggest issue is that look how flex, look how the whole car's made out of fiberglass, so it is weak as shit. So I really want it to be as sturdy as possible. So I don't want to be like, look at the flex in that. I don't want to be cutting things, but other than that, it's going to be moving this further back, and then it's just as weak here, and then we've got more holes which haven't been filled and blah blah blah. So I'm going to try and use this as best as possible. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a slit in here just with a grinder, and then we'll be able to pull it back, because right now if the rose joint's in there, we're not going to be able to come back to it. Okay, we're in neutral. Let's see. Yes! Yes, that feels great. Feels really good. It feels way better than it did before. There's like no play in it whatsoever. Nice. And now we can actually start it for the first time in months. Kill switch, start. That battery does not sound healthy. Nah, that battery doesn't sound good. No! I think the battery is ruined. Even though it's showing 14 volts, I'm pretty sure the battery's fucked. So we're gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to get a. I'm gonna have to buy a new battery, because I've just had that on charge for half an hour and it's still shit. So fortunately, I'm gonna have to buy another battery. Right, we've got a new battery on. Choke, let's go. We got fuel. I think we've run out of fuel. Yeah, I'm 99% sure we've run out of fuel. Why is it that the spouts for these always go missing? This is going to be a shit show, isn't it? Oh my god. The spouts always go missing. Fucking hell, it's going everywhere. Oh, for God's sake. Right, we've got fuel. I got a little bit of high putting it in. We're alright. Right, Right, so let's get it out of the unit and let's take it for a little bit of a drive up and down the car park and just make sure it is going in second gear. It's got a welded diff now, so it's really hard to turn when it's on full lock. We're gonna make it. It's really hard to turn on full lock with the diff.
But since it's going to its first ever show, let's give it a clean.
Got a bit of deja vu going on here. Let's go for a drive and let's see if it changes gears. Well, let's see if it starts first. I just jet washed the engine bay because I'm not scared, that's why. My rearview mirror out. Oh, that's neutral. It's going to neutral. Ah! Still won't go into second gear. So frustrating now, nothing ever works for me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've got to do every job 3,000 times when really I should just have to do it once. And it's so disheartening. And then I do something which should work, like it's doing half the job.
But with that bombshell, we've still got to get it to Adam Seafest. It's going on stand. But there might be a couple people there that might be able to help.
What do you think?
It's quite entertaining to drive. I thought you'd like a bit of a transition there as well.
Mate, I wish I'd go in second gear. I need to fix that. It'd be so sick in second.
Yeah. It just wants another one, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, drive and try and get in second. I mean, I couldn't do it, but have a go anyway.
I'll give it a go, yeah.
But up would be second. I get in that passenger seat and I'll put my hand through and try, as you're going second, I'll try and pull the shifter.
I can't even get it back into neutral now.
Yeah, it's kind of, you need, yeah, it's kind of...
Yeah, you got to rock it.
So we've f***ed up another cable. So I think that answers our issue of can we use a cable? And no is the answer. Either they're not up for the job or there's something wrong with the shift, like the actual gearing in the car, which I don't think, because you remember a video, one of the first videos we did, we actually had it in the air and it was going through the gears fine. So I just think the tension of the prop shaft and the diff and the wheels is just, it's just creating too much on the strain of the engine or the gearbox or something, and this cable just isn't overcoming that tension of the prop and the welded diff and the wheels. So we need something strong and not cable like. So you were saying just use some...
I would make a solid shifter mechanism. So your shifter comes out the box under here and essentially pivots like this. So what we can do is we take that pivot point and give it a big extension. Then you'll end up in this footwell here.
Yeah.
And then come up on that and you'll have a lever that you can actually access by hand here and go up and down through the gears. Like so.
To go up and down, you probably have to put something on so you can...
Yeah, like a handle here.
Yeah.
And then all you'd need to do is go down a gear, up a gear, or whatever direction it wants to be. But yeah, I think
you can. That's just on a spline, so you can put that in any orientation you want, really.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is you just
bring it up into the car.
Like literally, just bring it straight through this panel. You've got access to it. You can see straight through here.
Yeah.
And you could literally just put yourself a stick here. If you want to be real fancy, you could put some rose joints in and mount something solid and then have it so it comes forward and backward. But rudimentary, down and up, proof of concept, that's probably where you want to be at this second. And that'll get you exactly what you want to do with the car. Function.
I kind of always knew that it was going to have to be something solid mounted. Because this again, there's flex in the body, there's flex in the cable, there's just flex everywhere.
There's a lot of flex going on.
So we're driving in second gear.
We've obtained second.
So he's pushing it from there and I'm pulling it. And it's got in second. We're in second gear.
We're in second gear.
It wasn't that hard to get it in second gear.
No, I think it was all cable tension. Will it do third on the way back?
I was literally going to say, let's try it.
Do you want me to hold the camera?
I should be alright.
Right, you ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Third.
Third. Oh God! Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah.
We got third gear.
And that's quite easy.
Yeah, that's not too bad. So it's just fucking hell. There's so much stroke up there.
What's that noise?
It's the cable hitting everything.
Gosh, sorry my face. Sorry? Can you hear that?
I clutch kicked it.
It's hot in here. What was it? Mate, look at the temp.
Yeah, I know. That's why I cold it. I was like, it's getting a bit warm. When it come down the hill, it just, and it came on, and it was fuck, and it took off. I was like, I don't know what to do here, because I'd come barreling into a corner in a car with 3 wheels down a hill, and I was like, well, here's where we die, isn't it? So,
And then we started to get maybe a little bit too cocky.
It's gonna fall, it's gonna flip. I think that was enough. What's it smoking for?
let's turn it all off.
Yeah.
I did beat the shit out of it there, to be fair.
So thanks for watching, everyone. We know what we need to do. We need to make a solid shifter for the gears. So maybe we can get this right on attempt number 3.